folks, this is all the fruit. Today, gonna be foraging in the wealthiest country in the world. Nope, it's not the US, neither China or Japan. It's not even Switzerland or Singapore. Nope, it's the tiny, well, autocratic, feudalistic principality of Monaco in Europe. Yeah. As you can see, land is incredibly expensive in Monaco, so expensive that they even make their gardens on the rooftops. Monaco is not just very rich and not just the land is very expensive, everything is super expensive here. That's why I disabled my mobile data, took a hefty breakfast in France, which is already one of the most expensive countries in the world. Filled my backpack with food, fruits and water because, yeah, I don't trust my foraging skills in May in Europe so much, and disguised myself as a normal tourist. Yeah, I know I'm still dressed like a bum, but at least I don't have my giant backpack with clearly visible sleeping bag and sleeping mat, because every time I came to Monaco with this luggage, the nice Monegassean police was already waiting for me. Yeah, here on the Mediterranean coast there are lots of homeless people or long-time tourists with big backpacks and visible sleeping mats and tents on them. They are not allowed into Monaco, folks. There is no particular law against that as far as I know, but yeah. People with big backpacks as well as yes, southern looking people, Arabian or African looking people, they are kind of being, how shall I say, sent back at the border, because Monaco is the place for the rich and beautiful. If you are rich, you can be ugly as shit. If you are not rich, you better be beautiful or useful. So disguised in this way, we're gonna start foraging because, yeah, rich people, expensive land, not much space for gardens means that they are gonna put a lot of money and effort in the little space they have for their gardens. Here are some cacti. This is some sort of epiphytic rainforest cactus. I think it has edible fruits. With this one I know it has edible fruits. This is the blueberry cactus. Over there already some flowers, but no ripe fruits right now. Don't even know what this is. Must be some really expensive agave relative. You can eat the fruits of the mother-in-law cushion and even the seeds. Here they are. They watered them so well that even in the drought of the last 2 years, a lot of, well, not very well developed, but edible fruits survived. Let's see. Here is one. The flesh is sour. Oh, blood on YouTube, not good. The flesh is sour. And the seeds are crunchy and very nutritious. Not a very good fruit, but a decent one. This could be a tasty Chilean wine palm. Well, those up there seem to be tasty cabbage palms. Down here a thick berry, not in season. And two small pineapple guava plants. Too small to produce fruit. Parthenocissus trichospidata, an Asian relative of the Virginia creeper, and since they don't have a lot of maple syrup or syrup maples in Asia, in older times they used this to get sap, which they could turn into, I guess, creeper syrup. Don't know what the Chinese or Korean word for the syrup they got from the plentiful sap of this plant is, but yeah, I would need to cut the branch, to cut the vines and wait for some time to get the sap out, so no. Silver berries, but while the season in Germany still goes on, here it's been over for some time. Also a slightly bigger pineapple guava plant, but it's freshly planted, so no fruits. Well, the fruits are not in season, but the flowers are, and the flowers are among the most forageable flowers in the world. Here a Japanese, some Japanese rosaceae where the fruits are a famine food. Totally edible, but a famine food. And here an avocado. Most of them are not in season. I saw one tree in season around here, and one little shop which sold local avocados, but still, it's an avocado tree. They are not too uncommon around here, and they are producing a good amount of fruit once they are in season. Loquats, together with the citruses, they are the staple of spring fruit foraging around here. This here looks suspiciously like a police motorbike. Okay, well, I guess what can they do for when I pick one loquat and prison me? Land is too expensive for prison cells here, folks. Couple Peruvian pepper trees. Most of them are not in season. I saw one in season in nearby Monton, but it's basically a summer and autumn fruit. And yes, the stuff is being sold as pepper even in shops and supermarkets. Those two of decent size and age, and both have a dog tag. Every tree around here has a number. This place reminds me of Singapore. Very rich, but also very limited space. However, compared to Monaco, Singapore is gigantic and has lots of huge green spaces. In Monaco, well, I guess that's the average size of a state park. Two ornamental pears, and they are in flower, but there is one strange thing. The flowers of the edible pears are basically the most tasty fruit tree flowers I know, maybe except for the Feijoa flowers. However, the flowers of the ornamental pears, they are not good at all. So, well, not even gonna taste them. Monaco is not just incredibly small and incredibly densely populated, but it's also incredibly steep. It basically lost all its agricultural areas, all its arable lands to places to France and also Italy a little bit, mostly France, I think. And so, yeah, elevators, stairs, tunnels, bridges, they are very normal features of transport and of moving around here in Monaco. I'm probably gonna use a couple of those nice video surveilled public elevators around here. Yeah, it's totally not unusual to go from street A to street B, to have to pass through a building and do an elevation change of 30-40 meters or over 100 feet. Bitter orange, which is not bitter but sour. Behind the cypress there is a peach tree. Here a hibiscus syriacus with tasty flowers and fruits, but neither is in season. Here again thick berries, they are flowering, but the fruits are not in season yet. Yummy queen palm, with one of the tastiest palm fruits ever, and behind it three staples of Mediterranean cuisine for thousands of years. The domestic pine, which provides tasty edible nuts, the olive, which provides tasty oil and pickled olives, and down here a feral fig, which provides ample very sweet fruits, which are also very good for preservation by drying. And here again thickberry and silverberry, both not native but good for foraging, but not right now. Strawberry trees, pretty big and old ones, and a mulberry over there. very few remnants of the local maquis, of the wild. Well, this is not really the original vegetation. The original vegetation would be those trees here, but not the size of shrub, but the size of trees. And the pines, they don't grow on the limestone hills naturally, they were planted here. But this is the best that's left of the natural vegetation. It's a secondary vegetation up there, over there in France, yeah. This country is really very, very narrow. Here is the sea. And back there, that's already France. Well, there are some better examples over there on the hills, but here we are in Monaco. So let's see what we have here, what edible stuff we can find in the natural vegetation. Down here, 2 vines, the sarsaparilla, or the favorite food of the Smurfs, you know, those little blue people. It is actually edible in a way, at least some species of sarsaparilla, but here in the Mediterranean it's not really common. What's much more common, every Italian is foraging for this, is asparagus in spring, but after the second winter without basically almost any rain, the wild asparagus foraging here was very bad. Then we have 2 species of pistachio here. The mastics, those little evergreen shrubs. Yeah, mastics, it might remind you of the word masticate, which is a fancy way to say chew. And this is where the original chewing gum comes from. Yeah, the original chewing gum of the Maya people came from the sap of the sapodia. But the original chewing gum in the old world, the chewing gum of the old Babylonians and Phoenicians and Greeks and Romans, came from the mastics. It's a type of pistachio without edible fruits, but the sap is tasty. Another pistachio, also without edible fruits, is Pistacia terebinthus, the turpentine tree. I don't know if it was really used as a commercial source of turpentine, but it definitely smells like it, and the turpentine smell was used for different stuff. Oh, here, by the way, a much closer, much better mastics. What else have we got? In the background, a lot of feral olives. Those are most probably not native to this part of the Mediterranean, but Phoenicians, Greeks and Romans brought the olive culture here thousands of years ago, and the olives escaped from cultivation. And here, last but not least, an important spice, the sumac. Small, hairy, sour fruits which taste like vitamin C, and you can still find the spice, especially in some Arabian and Mediterranean food stores. It comes from the fruits of this little tree. It can grow a little bit bigger, like 2-3 meters tall, but not so much taller. Now I'm a bit confused. According to my map, I just crossed the border like 10 meters behind me. Basically, the border is where the tall buildings start. But still everything is called Monte Carlo, Residences Monte Carlo. We are here in the Republic of France that used to cut the heads of all the nobles. We are on the Avenue Princess Grace. This is an almost unheard of thing in the, I say it again, Republic, very Republican Republic of France. And yeah, Monte Carlo was basically the only village that did not join France back in the 19th century when France was very rich and Monaco was very poor. I think now they are happy they didn't do it. But right now we are already in France and still everything is Monte Carlo. This country is so rich, it stretches even beyond its borders. Here, by the way, the tasty prickly pear, the commercially most important cactus fruit. And there are even a couple old dried up, well, not really dried up, but not very tasty anymore, prickly pears up on this plant. And young nopales, a Mexican would know how to make a tasty salsa and eat those young cactus pads there, the light green ones. Yeah, it's funny, the Monte Carlo beach, the Monte Carlo country club, they're all outside of the country of Monaco. And here the stadium, Louis II. I remember a time where everybody who was called Louis with a number behind his name, was guillotined in this country. Strange. What money can buy, extending your country even beyond your present borders, buying back your old territory, at least in some way. Here, by the way, a nice feijoa tree covered with hundreds of tasty flowers. I'm too lazy to cross the road now, but I'll find another one to forage. So many more tasty queen palms, but no, here we are in the poor proletarian country of France, despite everything still being called Monte Carlo. Let's go back towards the rich place where if you don't have not a couple but a lot of millions in your bank account, you shouldn't even show up. The manna ash or flowering ash, when you have insects on this manna ash, they can produce nice little bodies which are called manna, which are sweet and can be eaten by people. And here an aristolochia with big fruits, but stay away from them, they are toxic and cause you a lot of trouble. Beautiful flowers though. I don't even know if this species is native. There are native species around here, or if it is an introduced ornamental. A young huckberry, at least one species is native to the forests around here. Usually they produce fruits in autumn, but out of season fruits on those are not unheard of, so there is a chance to forage something here. Acanthus, not edible as far as I know, but very important for classical art. They say that some of the capitals of the classic columns in antique Greece and Rome are basically copies of its leaves. Here's something which was also very interesting for classical cultures. It's the carob tree or St. John spread. Now, this pot is puny. They are not supposed to look like this. When they are filled with tasty sugary syrup, here it doesn't taste too tasty. And the seeds inside, well, now the seeds are the commercially most important part, because with them you can congeal every liquid to a jelly, and jellies are much more expensive than liquids. So the seeds now, 10% of the weight of the pot is in the seed, but 90% of the price is in the seed. It wasn't always like this. In older times the seeds were too hard to crush, they're incredibly hard, so the pots were the important part. An animal food, a famine food, and also a nice snack because they're kind of sweet. There is another important part about the seeds. Each seed weighs exactly 1 carat, or 1 carat is defined as the weight of 1 seed of the carob tree. So since antiquity, diamonds and gold and stuff like that were measured, were weighted in the unit of carob seeds. Very important tree. For decades people wanted to cut it down throughout the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and now because, congealing cheap liquids into expensive gels for food on an industrial level requires this stuff, and nobody wants gelatin from pig bones anymore. So now after decades people are happy they didn't cut down their carob orchards, because now you can get filthy stinking rich by collecting those pots. Talking of filthy stinking and rich, right now I'm leaving the poor proletarian country of France, and I'm in posh Monaco. Funny thing is, I'm not just standing with one foot in France and with one foot in Monaco. I'm standing with one foot in Europe and with one foot in not quite Europe. Those little countries like Monaco, Vatican, San Marino, Andorra, you know about taxation without representation? Well, they are not represented in the EU, but they're also not being taxed. It's funny that they produce EU coins and stuff like that, but because they're not being taxed, after, like in the same way the big European countries like France or Italy are being taxed, all the rich people flock here. So see folks, that's not just an international border, that's basically an intercontinental border. Here we are in Europe, here we are in medieval feudal Europe, or you can say here we are in the modern 21st century European Union, here we are in the Middle Ages. Middle Ages look a lot more posh and clean and tidy than in the Monty Python movies. Let's see what those medieval people are eating. Well, I bet nobody here knows this stuff is edible. A mahonia with a couple out of season fruits. You can cook them into a nice blue sweet sour jelly. A lily pilly, I haven't seen them fruiting around here, but if they're fruits, they are a provider of an almost endless amount of tasty berries. Cabbage palms, you can eat the heart of palm, it's very tasty, hence the name cabbage palm, but a lot of species also have edible fruits. And the good old Arabian date palm, the staple of the desert. Here in this area there was a big commercial production of those things for hundreds of years, but they did not grow them for the fruits, which rot after the slightest rain. They grow them for the leaves, which they sold to the Pope for processions. And here a beautiful olive tree, maybe 400 to 500 years old. There was a time where Monaco would have starved without olives. Now they are just an ornamental in front of the new money makers. Yeah, crossing over from France into Monaco is like crossing over from Indonesia into Singapore. Okay, the direct border is Malaysia into Singapore, but you know what I'm talking about. Strelitzia Nicolai, I think it was called the Cameroon banana. Oh, look at that. I just wanted to say they don't have bananas, but the fruits are edible in a different way. You see? You can eat those orange areoles. Oh no, you can eat the seeds, which are surrounded by those orange areoles. Yep. So this thing not only looks like a banana, but it also gives you kind of an edible survival food. The looks I'm getting here while filming their plants are amazing. And when I greet the people, nobody greets me back. Nobody has directly seen me eating anything yet. I think they might faint or call the police or the Red Cross if they see me do that. That's gonna be fun. Good that I'm disguised as a non-quite homeless person, or I would have been sent out of this country already. This cactus with edible fruits a little bit hard to identify. On the first glance it looks like Delainii, but it's not Delainii. I think it's Opuntia vulgaris or some very similar species. The fruits are definitely edible, I'm just too lazy to peel them now. The Canary Island date palm, more forgiving as an ornamental, especially in moist climates, than the Arabian date palm. But the fruits are not good to eat. What is good to eat? Very good to eat are the fruits of the jelly palm here. But they are not in season. I haven't seen a single ripe bunch. I haven't even seen a single unripe bunch this May. Neither in Italy nor in France. The cotoneaster, the fruits are totally edible. But yeah, they are so small that you need a plant where they are provided in ample amounts. Here I wouldn't even taste those three berries. Just a yellow lemon tree. And look at the human nature, folks. To the right side, where the lemon tree is accessible, all fruits without exception have been foraged. Not by me, by other people. To the left side, where you would have to walk through the park for a couple meters, nothing has been foraged. Now I'm standing here on the sidewalk. Not a single lemon is accessible. From the other side you can collect a couple kilograms. This is the wealthiest country in the world, folks. Most people who pass by here are probably millionaires, and still they are stealing all the accessible lemons in the park. Yeah, Singapore, definitely Singapore. The architecture and the parks, they look so much like Singapore. Here, by the way, a feijoa with the edible flowers, but I'll find a plant with a lot more edible flowers. Just don't confuse them with the oleander. Oleander, a very beautiful, very widespread ornamental, but it's deadly. If you eat the flowers, the leaves, or the fruits, you die. You make your campfire. It's a very common plant in Mediterranean riverbeds. You make your campfire in the riverbed from the branches, you die. You stick your sausage or your marshmallow on the green branches, you die. Stay away from the oleander, folks. Look at it, it's beautiful. It's not gonna jump at you and kill you, but don't even touch it and don't forage it under any circumstances. This vejoia here is just covered with those beautiful fruits. Look at them, they don't provide nectar. Birds come and eat the petals, which are very succulent and sweet, and pollinate the plant. Yeah, like tropical birds, tropical South American birds. You know who pollinates them in Europe? Who comes and eats the petals and does the pollination work so that you can enjoy the tasty fruits? It's the common gutter rat. Well, no, I'm not talking about those things here. I'm talking about the pollinators. This lady looked at me like, you are calling my 100,000 euro dogs common gutter rats. I didn't call your dogs common gutter rats, lady. I called the pollinators of those things in Europe common gutter rats. Well, right now I will I will function as a common gutter rat. Eat a couple of the petals and look, I'm doing the pollination. Probably I'm not very good at it, but it doesn't matter. The look he gave me. It's the common gutter rat. Toxic oleander in a different color. They have all colors from white to purple. The wild ones are pink, but be careful, don't touch any of those. And I thought this is the common myrtle, but no, it's the common, what is it? What is the English name? Buxus sempervirens, boo in France. A bird's eye view on edible palms. Washingtonia, very good heart of palm and good fruits. African date palm, more African or Arabian date palms and queen palms. I hope to find the jelly palm here too, but I don't. However, down there, a lot of salt spray and they are not being watered very well. Come on, folks, this is one of the poshest, maybe the poshest beach in the world. Don't you even have enough water to water your palm trees? That's appalling. Look at it. This one is almost dying. Same with this one. Look at the leaves. They look like they are in the desert of a third, fourth, fifth world country. Well, for places like Monaco, you have to find a new classification. First world doesn't do it any justice. Zero world maybe, -1 world, something like that, to give credit to their incredible wealth. Oh, and if you wonder why the European millionaires live in high rises which are virtually undistinguishable from the slums of Marseille or Naples, well, it's taxes. Basically, that's what Monaco does. It stores millionaires in giant stacks on its tiny territory, and it attracts them with low taxes. So those people make their money in like Germany, France or Italy, but officially they live here, so those nice countries don't get a single cent of taxes from them, and for that they don't mind living under basically conditions like chickens in an industrial chicken farm. Am I a little bit jealous? I'm ranting more about the wealth of Monaco than I'm stealing its fruits. I guess I don't like the way the Monegassian police scooter up there, so they do look different. Guess I don't like the way the Monegassian police has treated me over the years. Mulberry trees here in this playground, but nothing ripe on them. They are not in season yet. Okay, let's say something nice about those wonderful people with their unintelligible language. Yes, they do have an own language which I kind of can recognize but not understand. They have nice parks, lots of tasty feijoa, lots of olives. Yeah, lots of tasty feijoa, lots of olives, lots of tasty feijoa, lots of olives. They have nice parks. Somebody's foraged all the oranges from those orange trees. Interesting. Tasty edible onions. Could this be Allium neapolitanum? It's a little bit big for Allium neapolitanum, but it's an onion, so it doesn't matter the species. First rule of foraging: something looks like an onion but doesn't smell like an onion, don't touch it. Especially on the US East Coast, the fly poison can kill you immediately. Fly poison is a flower that looks like onion and is used to kill flies and humans. But also in Europe you have toxic plants, so if it looks like an onion and smells like an onion, it tastes like an onion, you are safe. If it looks like an onion but doesn't smell like an onion, just leave it alone. Lots of interesting palm species along Avenue Princess Grace. Graceful, nice palms. In West Precaution, I foraged some golden delicious apples in a French supermarket. Villa sauber. Yeah, that means clean in German. I guess that's a clean mansion. Let's check out the Monte Carlo citrus collection up there. Oh, and before that, see those plants in the big pot? This is the large Nam Nam, Carissa macrocarpa. Very tasty fruit, but not in season right now. The mansion Villa Sauber seems to be closed. However, oh, look at that beautiful citrus collection. It might be quite small, but it's nice. Look at those huge citrons here. Citrons. Look at the size of those bad boys. Aren't they beautiful? I'm wondering why nobody has stolen them yet. I'm not gonna steal them. Mandarins. Here more citrons, but those are gone. Citrus season is coming towards an end. Don't know what's the purpose of those painted cones. This is a mandarin, an orange, Citrus paradisia, star ruby grapefruits, but underwatered. Variegated lemons. Yeah. The problem is during the citrus season, the Mediterranean is a bit cold, so it's not the nicest time to be here. It's still warmer than Germany, but not warm enough for me. Let's see, what have we got here? Oh, well, those are not grapefruits, those are proper pomelos. Look at the size of this one, folks. Beautiful fruits. Beautiful. Here, by the way, every part of it is deadly, has been used for murders and suicides for thousands of years. But the pink aril around the fruits, around the seed, is edible. Need to steal at least something. That's a calamansi, I would say. Let's check what it is. Always know the name of what you eat. Who cares about names? Calamansi. Beautiful in the upper part of the park, but I don't see anything particularly edible up here, except for the ornamental leeks. No, I think the ornamental stuff is something different. This one wild leek is a wild leek, but it's still tasty and edible. Well, I guess I'm starting to get an idea why so many of the citruses and other fruits have been foraged around here. The most common language I hear here is not French, not Monegasque, not English, but Russian. Yeah, my Slavic brothers from Eastern Europe are here. Usually really tall, really beautiful women, wives of oligarchs and stuff with little children. And let me tell you something, East European people, doesn't matter if you become a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire, a gazillionaire, you see an edible fruit on the roadside, you forage it. It's funny that the Russian oligarchs think that Monaco is a much better place than Moscow to weather out World War III. There are tons of them around here, despite sanctions and restrictions. I guess money can buy everything. Some nice bananas, and they are well watered and well fertilized, but still a little bit small for the usual banana varieties around here. And only this really tiny, really puny one actually has a bunch, but they're already gone. The big ones, why don't they have fruit bunches? And even this really huge cluster here, not a single fruit bunch. I guess those are topocho, despite the plants being a little bit on the small side for topocho, but I would like to have certainty on that. The Japanese garden. For others, this might be a symbol of intercultural understanding. For me, it's an opportunity to forage even more exotic things. However, despite being a Japanese garden, the flora is not too exotic. Myrtles, always like a small handful of very aromatic myrtle berries, but they are native to this area. Cotoneaster, but this one is in flower, Cotoneaster horizontalis. Tasty, nobody expects it to be tasty, but it is. Thick berries. Peruvian pepper tree. Yeah, the pines could be Pinus parviflora, but I'm not sure. The pines could be Japanese pines, but not too many exotic things here. Still beautiful. Don't just think about food. Think about this beautiful park. Yeah, it's a beautiful park. Silverberries. Silverberry season is over. Nice, beautiful irises. Nice, beautiful rocks and waterfalls. You cannot eat rocks. Of course you can, but you shouldn't. Flowering quince. Yep, this is from Japan, and the fruits are totally edible. Even the flowers are. Also very tasty plum yew somewhere around here. The best plum yew I've ever eaten in my life. But I guess it's not gonna be in season. I should start using the beautiful Bahasa word I heard everywhere in Kalimantan where I arrive. Well, the beautiful Bahasa phrase, belum musim, not ripe yet. Well, bay leaf. I could flavor my foods with it if I had foraged any foods to flavor. Thing with the red leaves is a cherry plum. They're actually edible right now. They're still green but edible. What is the plum yew? Seeing something that looks like an apricot. Theoretically, the unripe fruits would also be edible. No, it's not an apricot. It's a, what is it, a butterfly tree? And what is the tasty plum yew? Cannot see it. Cherries, but they are those ornamental cherries which have no fruits. And a big lily-pilly tree outside. I want fruits on those. Those are tasty. Pretty sure this elderberry bush is feral. I don't think anybody planted it, but they just accepted it. That's a clever move. The fruits are edible after cooking. Here are some unripe fruits. But you can also make nice pancakes from the flowers. And here more ornamental cherries. Edible pineapple guava flowers. Mastics, which you can masticate. And there in the back, edible silverberries. Here a close-up of a large num-num plant. I saw a couple just a couple out of season ripe fruits in nearby Italy and France, but here I just see a beautiful little flower. I kind of cannot avoid the thought that cars are a little bit, treated better than pedestrians here. I have barely 40 centimeters to walk, while the cars have a nice white road. And those things here are also a bit dangerous. I should stop trolling this beautiful country. After all, I want to eat their fruits. Look at this beautiful rainforest cactus. What is it, Raphidiphyllum or something? I forgot the name. I wonder if it's being properly pollinated here and producing tasty fruits. It would be amazing if you could forage this stuff here. I mean, I could even eat the flowers. Cactus flowers are totally edible. But devouring such beauty feels a bit like a sin. Over there, a tree of cactus. It should also have edible fruits. And how do I get into the casino? Is it even accessible right now? Let's say yes. Let's try our luck. Seems that this is the proper way to cross the street here. It's my lucky day. We didn't get run over on the way to the casino, so I might test my luck a little bit more. Don't pick the plants around the casino and don't eat around the casino. And don't photograph. Don't put up tripods for photography. And don't walk. And don't throw away trash. Interesting. Well, I guess the only thing allowed here is basically, lose your money. Oh, I don't think I'll be able to do any of the criminal things here because this place is very well protected. Didn't expect that of the Monte Carlo casino. So that's where the treasures of Monaco are hidden. Right at the casino Monte Carlo. Well, seems like the biggest part of the park is not really accessible. Beautiful. Actually, almost none of the park is accessible. Interesting. And in front of you folks, you see the beautiful historic building of the casino of Monte Carlo, the only village that stayed faithful to the country of Monaco. Oh, and here are the slot machines, and over there the roulette. Nice, nice. I'll pass on that. I'm in the gardens of Little Africa. Strange name. Are they trying to belittle Africa? No, I don't think so. Maybe they just didn't have enough space. But couldn't they have made one big garden of Africa instead of several gardens of Little Africa? Just as a suggestion. I'm trolling too much. Forgot to check the bananas, no bananas. Forgot to check the pineapple guavas, no excess. What about the tasty Monstera? No fruits. Also, no public. I don't know, man. I understand if a gardener doesn't want you to walk on the lawn, but still putting up like 10,000 signs, is that more beautiful than tourists on the lawn? I don't know, man. You think 10,000 I'm exaggerating? Well, there is one about every 5 meters. even more than every 5 meters. Here somebody has done some civil disobedience. Good, I totally approve of that. Although I wouldn't dare do it myself. It's a beautiful garden. I'm happy that I'm at least allowed to walk on the tarmac. Big bunch of monstera. Oh, any ripe fruits here? You can see a couple unripe ones over there. That gives me hope. Well, oh, no signs, no public here. Am I allowed to walk down to those monsteras? Nah, I might be detained and forced to gamble in the casino. Not gonna risk that. A huge monstera plant. One good size fruit here. Nothing on the ground. Nothing ripe above. No ripe fruits I can see. Here one fell down weeks or months ago. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, those are all gone. Anything more? Anything more? Anything more? Nope. No luck today. No tasty monstera fruits. At least no tasty ripe monstera fruits, and those are the only tasty ones around here. What a pity. I wanna bet that this proletarian fig is a feral plant, but the gardeners were decent enough to leave it here. Totally approve of that. Good gardeners, good garden, good country. Don't detain me, please. However, looks and feels a lot like Tijuana here. Welcome to Tijuana. Lots of fences. Da. Here a nice Strelitzia Nicolai or Cameroon banana. Was it Cameroon banana? Some African country. Beautiful flowers, and as I said, the fruits are totally edible-ish. In a city of hotels, of course, they'll have a bee hotel too. Here, the non-edible Musabazio. A little bit puny for that climate, but can clearly see. Oh, wait, here I'm allowed to go on the grass. Look, here there are no signs, no public. Oh, good. So let's do it. Well, Musabazio. Totally recognizable by those big yellowish brownish flowers and the huge bunches of non-edible little fruits. Here's some more unusual type of banana. Very tall and slender. The young leaves are quite reddish. The stems are blackish. Huge elongated flower bud up there. Do you have an idea which banana this is? Cannot place it. Around here, basically we have the three normal ones: Bazio, Enzete, and Orinoco banana. And then I saw a Cavendish. And what was the other one? In one of the botanic gardens they say they have Balbisiana. What is this one? I'm a little bit confused right now. A ginkgo tree. The fruits taste of puke. Well, the fruit-like structures taste of puke, but are still edible. But the big treat are the seeds. However, if you are clever, you plant male trees, because a million fruit tasting of puke, well, can chase away visitors from any park. I would guess that this is a male tree. Yes. See, those look like male ginkgo inflorescences or little flowers, those botanical things. I have a bunch of degrees in botany and still I try to avoid those. Well, definitely a male ginkgo anyways. No fruits and no seeds from this one, folks. Those plants here look like a nice collection of cacti, but they're actually a mix of cacti and spurges. This one is a spurge, this one is a cactus, 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 spurge, cactus, 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 spurge, spurge. That's the second rule of foraging, folks. Always know your cacti from your spurges. You can forage if you are only... Oh, here another cactus, barrel cactus, one of the most forageable cacti. Always know your cacti from your spurges. You can forage something useful from most cacti. From the spurges, you can basically only forage poison to vanquish your enemies. Never go at a spurge if you are not looking for a weapon. How do you recognize them? The spines of the spurges are pretty much always in pairs. One pair, two pairs. The spines are very tiny, but I can feel them very well. While the spines of the cacti are either several, or one single one, or one single one surrounded by several glochids. But there's either one main spine or one single spine, or a lot of main spines. You can see this in all those cacti, but the spurges always have the spines in pairs. Stay away from them. Actually, the most common use for those is as fish poison. But don't poison yourself, don't forage those. I will build a tall fence around each park to prevent those damn Mexicans from entering our beautiful American parks. That is a beautiful park, and I've never been inside this one. European dwarf palm, the only palm native to the European continent, and by many, many degrees the northernmost palm in the whole world, and one of the frost hardiest. You can eat the big buds and you can also eat the fruits, but both are more survival foods than a tasty morsel. I kind of like the fruits for foods, but don't overdo it. One of the countless gingers, those are basically all edible, and while we only eat the rhizome, people in the tropics, they eat everything. Flowers, the fruits, and even the soft part of those stems. Not long ago I foraged those in Borneo. Look at those things, don't they look tempting? Well, if you get tempted by them, detention by the Monaco police is your smallest problem, because those things will kill you. Sucas, extremely toxic. Well, seeds, yeah, seed-like structures. Yeah, well, they will kill you. That's all. Actually, it's not. They will kill you and it's gonna hurt all the way while you're dying. They are so common in parks, and this beautiful red color and the size, they are so tempting, and when the red color is being brushed off, the remaining stuff looks yellowish, brownish, and it's basically, it looks almost like a bunya nut or like a chestnut. I wonder why not more people are dying from this. Very dangerous. Stay away from it, folks. Also stay away from the mock lime. I mean, having tiny cocktail-sized red limes is the best thing that can happen to you, doesn't it? And actually there is an edible teeny tiny red lime in the tropics. But this is the mock lime. It looks like the edible teeny tiny lime from the tropics, but when you eat it, the rind is sweet and bitter with a strange citrusy flavor. And still the rind is the most edible, because the whole inside, I dropped one of the seeds, the whole inside is filled up with two big seeds. There is no juicy flesh here. Here you can see in this one rind and the seeds without juicy flesh in between. That's why mock lime. It looks so nice and beautiful and edible, but it mocks you with its inedibility.